Okay, everybody. So I got two CDs here from two different artists, and I was going to briefly talk about these. Like doing these top favorite CDs, and I'm trying to like get them through. But here's one that I think a lot of people are starting to really. It almost I feel like this first album almost became like a cult, almost like a cult album, because back in the day people bashed on it, and of course a lot of the like Ringo, whatever, I think he said, oh, he seemed to be strange or something, and now obviously he became more like the one favorite solo Beatle, and of course became probably more bigger than the rest. I mean, I can't really, I thought John Lennon's solo stuff was kind of okay. But also like Paul McCartney, and this is his first album, just called McCartney, And there's his baby there, Mary, Probably taken in 1969. Yeah, this was definitely like that album that was completely shredded, torn to pieces. Everybody just thought it was a piece of trash. It was garbage. Because it didn't sound like, what people wanted McCartney to, they wanted Beatle McCartney, just like heavy rockers, and, people thought, oh, what is this garbage? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who probably heard this album probably thought Maybe Amaze was probably like the best thing, and then they thought, oh, okay, whatever, And even Ram, which was his next one, that wasn't Wings yet, but even the first Wings album too, Wings Wildlife, that wasn't really, people thought that was kind of bad too. But I really liked the very first McCartney album. With I like the song Every Night. And it's got like different quirky, because it's just Paul McCartney in his own home basically. He's got his own recording setup, and he's doing some acoustic things that sound a little bit White Album, and he got some kind of like crazy guitar work, and and his drumming. Like you can definitely tell, or you definitely hear the distinctions of every instrument that Paul is playing. Like when you hear the drums, you're like, oh, okay, that sounds like him. Definitely for sure. Or when you hear his bass, because he's definitely known for just being a bassist, but also guitar too, so you hear just every little thing that's going on. You hear laughter, you hear, thuds, or just him tapping his foot like on the floor. It just has like some fun elements to it. It's not meant to be like, like Abbey Road or something, like, it's supposed to just be like something that's fun, And I think that's what Paul McCartney I think that's what he just kind of thought to do anyways, just to have fun. And now, obviously not to, put Maybe I'm Amazed down, but, just the other songs, like just the other songs are just probably near, or if anything, really more just, catchy than Maybe I'm Amazed. I mean, like I like Mama Miss America. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit rocking. He's got a little bit of that kind of Paul vocals and stuff, like that's the way he vocalizes and stuff, like, And I like the song Junk and Sing Along Junk. There's like one that has the lyrics and one that's like just the instrumental. Man, We Was Lonely. That's kind of fun. And he even resurrects an old Beatles song, which I don't think they weren't even called the Beatles then. I think they were just the Silver Beatles. And it was written back in the late 50s. Teddy Boy. Yeah, that goes back during the whole Silver Beatles era, or the Quarrymen, era. Yeah, so it's fun. Definitely great. McCartney. I don't want to say much about it, but, I think a lot of people seem to really I think they seem to really put it on a higher scale now, you know. And then the last one I have here, I know this is crazy, because I really, really love Joni Mitchell. I love her so much. I went on Amazon and I was kind of wanting to get that box set that Rhino released many, many years ago. So expensive though. So, I mean, I kind of just stuck with just the one album and of course the one song I really know from hers, you know. And I'm pretty sure everybody, out of their mom, of course, knows that she's well known for Help Me. But she's also known for writing both sides now, you know, for Judy Collins. She also wrote, what's that one song? Pave Paradise, Put Up a Parking Lot. You know, that song that everybody kind of covered, you know. And she wrote Woodstock, you know, she was really, she was in a relationship and, of course, head over heels with Graham Nash. And, of course, the one album that I only have from hers, which I know is crazy, because, you know, if you're thinking about the early years, you have, the Girls in the Canyon, or whatever that album was called, and, just the early Joni Mitchell was really, really great. And I like the ones after that, after Court and Spark, the only one I have here. What was that one? And we even have a couple, or I think my dad, or maybe his mom, or my grandmother, she bought a couple of Joni Mitchell albums. I think Blue, you know, but just, Hissing of Summer Lawns and Aheraja. But I think I heard a lot of critics saying that her stuff in the 80s and the 90s was like really, really bad. But yeah, this is the only one that I have, and it's called Court and Spark. Now that definitely is definitely for sure, the album cover is beautiful. And she drew that album cover. And I really love these songs. Now it may be just a little twee at times, you know, and she can just kind of ramble on. You know, I mean, because can't really say she's on level with Dylan, but, you know, she's got her own just approach of writing her lyrics, and just, you know, it's really about, like, you know, the norm, and just talking about, people falling in love, or perhaps metaphorically talking about, what people deal with, and, you know, in certain relationships and just other, you know, things in life. But I mean, it has that song "Help Me," which is just absolutely a stunning freaking song. I mean, how can anybody not like that song, right? You know, and you know, this kind of took a step further into her career, more than her earlier albums, you know. And it just has some other really great ones, like Free Man in Paris. That was like a hit for her. Like an example, just like this train kind of, like she talks about, certain things in life that, that kind of just, it's very hard for me to kind of, just to like, but it's just, when listening to Joni Mitchell, it can be a little bit like, I would say possibly very, and at times too, very difficult to digest and stuff, But yeah, just wonderful work. She's definitely one of those great artists that, I mean, again, just her lyrics and just her vocals. It's just like, once you hear her voice, that's Joni Mitchell. Like, and it's just like, even with Nick Drake, you hear his voice, that's him. Like, they all seem to very distinctively have their own style, And that's all I could say. So, got McCartney and Mitchell in the same video. So that's it, folks. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.